All right, buddy. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
No, it's great to be here and exciting time. So
Thank you so much. Sorry if you hear the background noise. I was on my way home from work and I had to jump into a park.
it's fine. I when I used to live in New York, I mean, every self-tape, you didn't have to say you're in New York, you could hear the city in the background. So
Nice. So I guess like the first question I want to start asking you basically is what inspired you to want to act, write, and make films?
that's a great question. I think, always as a kid, I was entertaining everybody. I would tell the stories at school and I would come home and act out all the different characters and what happened. And even if something happened, like there was a fight at school, they would have me tell the story because I would just tell it in a way that made everyone feel that they were there. And then my aunt one day was like, you need to belong on the stage. And then so in my family, we would, my success as far as like if I got in trouble, I'd be punished. If I was doing good things, I got to use the cable box. So we had like HBO, Showtime, all the pay channels. And so my mom would give me the TV guide. I could look through it. And that was my reward. I'd pick out a movie and watch License to Kill or whatever movie it was from the 80s to the 90s. And then HBO was the doom, 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 like the letters coming across. I still remember getting so excited, like, oh my God, I'm watching one of the cable channels. And then finally, once I got a little bit older, I'm like, man, I really wish I would just get in there and like be on TV and be in films. And I would have cousins that were funny, or I'd have a cousin that was beautiful. I have a cousin that was, could have done stand up or was very dramatic. And I'm like, you should be this character. You should be this guy. I was trying to make everyone else an actor. And then I was just like, you know what? Maybe it's just something for me. And then so I got my MBA. I started a business. I was working at GE Appliances. I was doing all the grown up things you're supposed to do. And then one day at 32, my wife and I spoke and I said, I should be an actor. She's like, you can't keep talking about it. You need to either go do it or you don't ever bring it up again. I don't want to live with someone for the rest of my life talking about what they could have done. And then ever since then, I've been auditioning and doing commercials and meet with agents and sending out headshots. And it's been a tremendous about 10 years in the industry right now.
Oh my God, that's awesome. And I see like you've done a few different roles where you play a police officer.
Yes.
So I think they like you as a cop. Like, did you have any special like on-set cop training for any of the
They
cop
do
roles
it.
that
They
you
do it a
did?
lot. They'll have stuntmen on set, especially when you're using firearms and how to hold it. Especially when I was on the FBI playing a SWAT leader, it's like they act like it's those are real ex-FBI guys. Those aren't actors. Like they really did that. And so how you hold the gun if you're shooting the scene, but I raised it up too much. No, you could shoot the person in front of you. Or if I'm on Law and Order, it's like, all right, when you walk, you don't ever want them to see the gun because you're an FBI agent. You just have the flap jacket, but it's there, but you don't ever show it. And so things are always different, and it's fine. Like I remember when I was starting out, I kept getting detective roles and stuff, and people said, "Well, you don't want to get typecast." And I was like, "What was the second word you said?" They said cast. I'm like, "Yeah, I would like to be cast." Because when I first started, I couldn't book a plane ticket. All right, I went on 45 straight auditions in 2014, and I got none of them. And so the agent that I was with at the time ended up parting ways with me because sometimes they drop you, and I just re-signed with him in 2024. So 10 years later, I re-signed with the agent that dropped me. Great, great guy, great agency, gave me lots of opportunity. And he said, "Why would you come back after we dropped you?" I'm like, "Well, I'm a better actor now. And you gave me auditions when I really wasn't ready." And so they signed me. The first audition was over Thanksgiving holiday, and it was The Equalizer, and I booked a guest star on The Equalizer. I went from 0 for 45 with an agent to 1 of 1. So you
Oh
never
my
know.
God.
Yeah.
Damn, okay. And you also founded the WMZ. And can you tell us like a little bit about it and what WMZ is?
Yeah, I compare it to Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records. Everyone knows the story that Jay-Z could not get a record deal, so he started Rockefeller Records and signed himself. And so I always loved that story. When I couldn't get into the acting door, I said, "All right, I started my LLC, WMZ Entertainment. I had this great story about me, my wife, my ex, and my daughter, and how twisted the relationships are, and funny stories with that. And I just made a 30-minute TV pilot, and then I put the IP up under WMZ Entertainment. And I went out and I even wrote the record label to Childish Gambino, and I got the rights to Redbone so that I could use it at film festivals. And then we got into 50 film festivals, I think 8 countries, and we got 15 awards. And I got 4 Best Actor awards. So the first TV show I was ever on was my own pilot that I created and paid for. And I had Kyle Romnick, a good friend of mine, direct it. He was an Emmy-winning cinematographer, and it was just grinding. I mean, just figuring it out. And I wanted to look as good as a TV show. So we shot it in 4K back in like 2018. And I used that as my reel and as my proof of concept when I went to go meet agents. And I showed myself as a leading man in a professional TV show. And that's what I needed to get the one-liner of he went that way or turn around, you're under arrest. Like that's what it took to get my first co-star.
Nice, nice. And I'm a big horror fan, and I saw you were part of a certain movie that involves a killer mouse. It's
Yes.
called Screamboat.
Yes.
And how was your experience like shooting a horror movie, especially a horror movie about a killer Mickey Mouse, you know?
It's definitely a passion project. I was in New York to do it. It actually overlapped with Straw, which is the new Netflix film. So I had to do both like one day apart, which was crazy. You go from like not booking anything for 12 months to I'm double booked on Netflix and this cult classics horror film. It's like this is how life is, right? We knew about the Disney part of it, the fact that the IP had ran out from Disney, and we were trying to be the first ones to come out with that. And Steve Lamont, the director, he was very passionate about it, the production team. So it was one of those, I mean, it was definitely an indie thing. Like, it's not like I was laying in my trailer and the PA came to get me. It's like the person who came to get me was also in my scene. And so it was a heck of an experience. It's the first time I was in AMC. My daughter, who's now 21, took her friends to the movies to go see it. My mom went to the movies for the first time in 10 years. And I've never thought about doing horror, but I mean, it was a lot of fun, and it was interesting. And plus, because everybody's a Disney kid, right? And so knowing these characters and then going to have fun with them, I mean, it was yeah, it was special. It was special to go from that to, a big thriller or on a Netflix set. It just shows you how quickly things can change in this business.
I mean, hey, like if you're gonna do horror, you have to go do it with David Howard Thornton, who's Art the Clown in the Terrifier movies.
Oh my God. We
So if you're
watched
going out
Terrifier,
of
and
horror, it's definitely him.
it is terrifying. Like I think that Screenboat is special because it's having a little fun with itself. It's not taking itself too seriously. But I was watching Terrifier because I couldn't wait for Screenboat to come out, and I was terrified. I'm like, this is really crazy. I'm glad the one I'm in is a little bit lighter and stuff. It's still not safe for kids, but it is. Oh man, it's a cult classic for a reason. I see why they have the following that they do.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the show that you're in now, Straw, like
Yeah.
it's a Tyler Perry, and this isn't the first time you actually worked with Tyler Perry. Like you worked with him on Young Dylan too, right?
Young Dylan was my first time. That was a Nickelodeon sitcom I guest starred on. It was my first guest star. And then I also did 2 episodes of Sisters on BET. So I had those two under my belt. And then I came and the feature film Straw came up, which he partnered with Netflix to do this. And it's huge. I don't want to say huge budget, but it definitely feels like a huge budget. I don't know what the budget was, but like I remember one day on set, and I'm used to like drones and stuff like that with Tyler. And he knows I worked with him before, and he worked so fast. I never left his side because you would miss your scene if you like go wander off. And so I'm just standing by his side, and he calls the walkie-talkie, and he goes, "Hey, remove the drone." And I see the drone fly away, and he just looks over at me, and it's getting dark, and he goes, "Bring in the helicopter." And a mile away, which I thought was a star, suddenly got bigger and bigger, and the helicopters just start hovering over, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a different level right here. This is not BET. Nothing wrong with BET, but this is Netflix, baby. Like we're really doing this." So it was a huge experience, and he shoots fast. And they said they did it in 4 days, the whole film.
Oh my God, you had to get that done in
4 days.
4 days?
Yes, but for like, I still work in corporate America, and so I took a week off of work, like I was going on a vacation to Mexico. I fly to Atlanta, and when I come back, I got a whole movie in the bag, and I just got to wait a year for it to come out on Netflix. I mean, it's amazing. I didn't have to go on location for 3 months because everything is so tight. He owns everything. He owns the studio, all the police cars you see, all the drones you see. That's all Tyler's stuff. So he doesn't have to go rent it or figure out when he can get it. It's his, you know. So it's interesting. It's fun.
And you know, when you actually go back to work, like you have bragging points now. Like, oh, what
Don't
did
say
you do
anything.
while you were on vacation? I
Nobody
just worked
knows.
with this guy named Tyler Perry. Nothing that big.
You would think that you would say that, but there's a lot of feelings involved, and I'm a sales director, so I have a team of 14, and we're doing big business stuff. They don't want to hear that, so I just let them see it, and when they see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a year ago, because they think you're doing it every day. But I mean, like, it's also like no one talks about this part when you still work a day job, a survival job, as I say, and you act. It's like it's the gift and the curse. So like on Tuesday. I was at the premiere and they had security with people in their ears, and we're in New York and we can shuffle around the red carpet. I'm dealing with paparazzi. And then on Wednesday, I'm on a conference call because the shipment of appliances didn't come through. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, we'll work on the shipment of appliances. I was famous yesterday. And so you got to deal with those emotions, you know.
Oh yeah, I bet. What was it like being on set for Straw and working with the cast?
It was great. I think it helped me that I'd been around a lot of famous people before. I had done Law and Order before that. I had done Sisters, so people I was used to seeing. And then I had done Honey 4, which also debuted on Netflix years ago, which is a dance movie starring one Tiana Taylor. And so the officer that was the main officer detective in Straw was Tiana Taylor. So first day on set, I'm like, hey, I was the manager in Honey 4. She gave me a big hug and it was a big little reunion. And it's like, here's this famous person remembering me from something else we did. And ever since then, it was great. And then I reported to Rockman Dunbar. He plays the chief of police, class act, great actor. I've seen him in other Tyler Perry films, saw him on 911, and just learning from him and kind of being a protege to him, both in the show, in the movie. I'm his his right hand man, and he's asking me for everything the whole movie, and I'm giving information. And then when he says cut, I'm like, all right, what else you need? You need something to drink? What do I just stayed in character the whole time. If he needed something, I got it for him. So I have fun with things like that and staying in character, so you don't have to change up.
Nice. And without giving a lot away about the
Yeah.
film, of course, like, is there a certain scene that you had the most fun shooting?
Oh wow, that's without giving it away. I would say that there's a scene where Tiana, I don't even have any lines in this scene, where Tiana has to confront a police officer who had done something wrong. And as a woman, a black woman at that, and it was a white male police officer, and her strength and poise and her fearlessness. And there's all these other men that support her as a woman. But the way that she felt free to be herself and to confront him in the way that she did is something that I just thought was just very special. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of men ready to go if something goes wrong, but you'll see the scene if you check out the movie, and like it's at the theater, everyone started yelling and screaming, and then they kind of cut to me and I give a reaction. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a thriller for sure. And there's a lot of people say, oh, look at Tyler Perry's projects can be sad, they can be this. And I'm like, this one's everything. It's inspiring, it's thrilling, it's a little sad, but so is life, right? Like my week was inspiring, thrilling, and was depressing today when I had to ship appliances. So that's how it is.
True, true.
Art
Was there
imitates.
was there any funny or cool stories from the set from Straw?
There was a lot, but I mean, it's got 4 days, right? So if you're over there laughing and stuff, like we're shooting. You got to be quiet the whole time because we don't have hardly any time to joke around. I think one funny story was the fact that I was shooting Screenboat. I had to leave at 3 p.m. I was worried about weather. Sure enough, it started raining and sleeting when I was driving to the airport. I told the driver, just go to the rental car place. So I rented a car. I drove, I think it was 14, 16 hours because I had to be at Tyler Perry Studios at 8 a.m. to start shooting Straw. I got a true story. I got pulled over on the way to Atlanta in DC, and the officer said, "Why are you speeding?" And I said, "You're not going to believe me. You can just give me a ticket." He goes, "Try me." And I said, "I'm an actor. I just finished a horror movie called Screamboat. I'm going to go shoot a movie with Tyler Perry in Atlanta, and I got to be there by 8 a.m." And he's like, "You got to be there in 7 hours?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." He goes in his car, and I see him on his phone and on his walkie-talkie. And he comes back and he goes, "What was the Tyler Perry film called?" And I said, "Straw." And he goes, "Okay." Like that was the right answer. And he gave me back my license and gave me a warning. And like he called Atlanta and was like, "What movie is Tyler working on right now?" He didn't ask me
Oh
until he
my
got off the
God.
walkie-talkie. He's like, "What is the name of the movie that Tyler Perry's working on?" And I said, "Straw." And he was like, "Okay." So
See, Tyler Perry got you out of a ticket.
he got me out of a ticket. And then once I got there, you go to holding, right? I was excited because Sherry Shepherd walks in. I say, "Oh, hi, how are you?" She's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And I like blinked and I opened my eyes. She was just looking at me. She's like, "You're tired, huh?" I said, "Yeah." And then Mike Morrell, who plays the other detective opposite Tiana Taylor, was like, he said, "Hey, bro, you were snoring." So I was like so tired from the drive. There's all these famous people. Tiana Taylor, because I was up for 24 hours. But I mean, that's what it takes when you want to be a local hire and you want to be in taking advantage of every opportunity. You got to show up where the cameras show up.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
It
And
was interesting. It was interesting.
and when you aren't acting and doing films, like what do you like doing during your free time?
It's so funny. I don't have a lot of free time. Like I do a lot of stuff in corporate America, but I do write still. I have multiple pilots written. I have a 30-minute comedy. I have a hour-long procedural drama, and then I'm still trying to push F.A.M for to get to a series. So I want to get it on a network or a streaming platform. So that running, and then like I have my own theater. So like I have big on Bauer and Wilkins speakers. I want to sound. If the helicopter comes around when I'm watching TV in my family room, I want it to come around my house like I'm in a theater. And so it's funny. I spent all this money on stereo equipment to get the OLED, and I'm like, this is perfect. I got four towers. And every Thursday, every Friday, my wife's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I want to go to the movies." So I still go to the movies, even though I built a theater and like I have an OLED TV now. But in Atlanta, I had a 120-inch screen. I had the speakers in the wall. And every Friday, she's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, she's like, "You SOB, are you serious? You want to go to the movies?" I'm like, I mean, I'm going to watch other stuff down there, but I still want to go get the popcorn. You can't recreate it, is what I've learned. You can't recreate it.
I I I love going to the movies too. Like that's something it just feels good. Like when Nicole Kidman is like talking when she says, when you're sitting in the movie theater, it's an experience like nothing else. Like that's how you really feel.
If you think about your childhood, like for me, there's no Blockbuster left, right? And then there was Redbox. I used to get excited about Redbox because Blockbuster was gone. All that's gone. It's like, yeah, I love streaming, but it's not an event. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
still want to be around people and I want to laugh. I want to know, make sure everyone else is laughing or only I find it funny. Okay. I mean, like when we woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and watched Straw. And it was different because you didn't have the crowd participation and laughing and
Mhm.
oohs and ahs. But back in New York, it was like, okay, this is funny. I'm okay to laugh because everyone else is laughing. And I think that camaraderie is important when you're enjoying art.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. And what about music? What kind of music do you listen to? What's on your playlist?
I can't believe I have to say this now. I like old school hip hop, which to me, it's not old school because it's like 2003 50 Cent or like Jay-Z. But my daughter is like, "Oh yeah, I love this classic stuff." I'm like, "Oh my God." Like I'm a classic hip hop head now. And when I think of classic hip hop, it's like a hip, a hop, a hippie, a hippie, hippie. Like it's not like, dust your shoulders off. So I like that. And I love smooth R&B. Like when I really want to relax, I listen to Karen White or Babyface. And I love cheesy love songs where people are singing in the rain and they're falling down and take my car, my money. I like that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Very dramatic.
So, what would be your go-to karaoke song if you were gonna do one?
Oh, I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful. Oh man, I think honestly, like Many Men by 50 Cent. I like that. I Believe I Can Fly by an artist we don't talk about anymore, which is a great R&B song and very inspirational. And the artist didn't do anything. The man, he can stay in jail. But uh, yeah, I like R&B. I probably an R&B at karaoke. I can't sing. I sound terrible, but I have a lot of passion. But you can tell I really mean it when I get in.
As long as the passion's there, because
Right.
karaoke isn't supposed to be like auditioning for American Idol. So
Yeah.
like as long as the passion's there, like you should be good. You should have fun, right?
I work for a company who is based out of Korea, and so every meeting it's mandatory for some reason that we go to a karaoke bar every time. Yeah, it's mandatory. It's like you probably get fired.
Nice.
So
As I said, like I'm a huge horror fan. Scream Boat was amazing. Are there
yeah,
any horror films that you like to watch?
one of my favorite movie experiences in the history of time was freshman year. I'm 18 years old, first time away from my parents. We're gonna go to the movies. Nobody ever heard of it before. It was something called it just came. The new one just came out. Like, why am I not thinking about it? Final Destination. And there's 15 of us from the dorm. And there's I hate to say it like this, it's a stereotype, but African Americans tend to run away when they get scared. And so people are running in and out of the theater, jumping down underneath the bleachers, and we're falling all over each other and screaming. Like we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. And that's when I started to like it's horror, but if it's done well, you're having fun and you feel like you're on a roller coaster ride. Like you're not supposed to fall off the roller coaster, but you feel like you're gonna fall off the roller coaster. That's the fun part of it, right?
Uh, I love Tony Todd in the Final
Oh
Destination
yes.
films. Like he is like so stern and scary. Like he's like, death is coming for you, and you don't want to fuck with that. And I'm like, oh my god, yes.
One of my work friends, Jake, he's a big horror fan, and like I was on the way to see the Final Destination. He's texting me, he's like, I gotta explain to you the Tony Todd part. I'm like, you don't need to explain anything to me about Tony Todd. I will talk to you after the film because I don't want any spoilers. He knocked off early and we saw it at 2:30. So I saw it at 5:30. And I like to this is another thing now with social media. I don't want to go on Friday night anymore. I go to the 3:30 or 4 o'clock meeting, the 4 o'clock showing because I don't want to get on social media and it's all there, especially with something like Final Destination. They're going to post their favorite death and then now it's going to ruin it for you.
True, true.
And I still, because I'm a millennial, I don't follow trucks with logs. I didn't know that that's just a millennial thing. I thought that was like an everybody thing. It was a good idea, but no, you got to be a millennial. You're like, you know what? I'm getting off this highway. I don't need to go that far.
I don't want to take up a lot of your time. So the last thing I'll ask you is like if there's anything coming up for you you would like to plug, and where can fans follow you at?
Right now, as far as following me, Anthony E. Williams on Instagram. That's pretty much the only place I'm at. Or Anthony Williams on LinkedIn. It's going to be two completely different people, but they're both me. I would say that what's coming up right now is today on is the release of Straw on Netflix. Screenboat just started streaming. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So Screenboat's out there, and then Straw right now, starring Taraji P Henson, Tiana Taylor, Rockman Dunbar. I mean, Sherry Shepherd. It's an amazing film. It is classified as a thriller, and it will pull at your heartstrings. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. Everything that a movie is supposed to do. So, and you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to buy any popcorn. You can just turn it on right there in your house. So that's what I would plug.
Awesome, buddy. And like where can fans I mean the sorry.
All right.
I just want to thank you for coming on the show, and it was really fun talking to you. Like anytime
Well,
you want to come on, talk about anything else you're in, I'm 100% down.
I appreciate it. When I got something else coming up, I'll be sure to get in contact with you. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Anyone who could be in a movie with a killer Mickey Mouse is very good.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. But definitely have an amazing night.
All right, you as well. Talk to you soon.
Bye.